sweating my radionads off. Yo, people, what's happening? Yes, I'm in a vest. Only Jans has returned. But you try being in 30-degree heat behind these studio lights and not be half naked, eh? So, sexy Jan's back. What's happening? Are you okay? How's it going? Welcome back. Chelsea news, as always. Chelsea want to sign a new goalkeeper to push Sanchez for #1 spot. Whoo! Music to my half-French ears. Je suis très content avec cette information. I have had serious reservations on the goalkeeping scenario moving forwards. I've said it on here. I've said it on other platforms I've guested on. For me, you need to be convinced about your goalkeeper. Why am I wearing a cap? You need to be fully convinced. Whether it's a stylistic, profiling, tactics, instructional thing, or if it's just a character in goal. And as someone who's enjoyed, great years of Petr Cech in goal, I understand the importance of big characters, reliable characters in goal, where the confidence, calm, and all the other positive stuff bleeds forward into the pitch. Oh, the defense is chill because they got that geezer behind them. Oh, the midfield's chill because the defense is chill, etc. Moving forwards throughout the pitch, and everyone's really happy. Alright, so we're going to react to this article from Matt Lord talking about Chelsea buying a new goalkeeper. And yeah, move through it together and react together. Sorry if you can hear a noise, it's the fan on the floor. Don't worry, I'm not naked below the waist, although I had considered it. Although I wouldn't be able to get off this chair if that's the case. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's enough. Yeah, hopefully you can't hear the fan. Yes, right. I was going to make a really rude joke, but I'm going to stop. Thank you for joining me. We're going to get into it today. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. If you choose to subscribe, hit the sweet, sweet bell. Let's go. All right, mate. Let's go. So, Matt Law of the Daily Telegraph has written this. Chelsea are in the market to sign a new goalkeeper. Cheer sound sample. Even though Robert Sanchez is currently, as it is in line to start as Enzo Maresca's #1. Rob Sanchez is not I know he's meant to be a good footballing goalkeeper, but he fell out with De Zerbi, and apparently De Zerbi wasn't impressed with his footballing ability. I know Chelsea have, retained Ben Roberts, the goalkeeping coach, after Potter's team left. He, of course, came with Potter, and he loves Rob Sanchez. So that's maybe something, here. Of course, Willy Caballero now has joined the Chelsea staff. Cult hero, Willy Caballero, ex-Chelsea player, as a goalkeeping coach. Or I think he's an assistant rather than goalkeeping coach. Anyway, we've got plenty of people who know how to save shots and play in goal on the Chelsea staff. And Rob Sanchez is fancied internally. Not by me, not that I'm internal. This does place doubt over the immediate future of Georgi Petrovic, who took over from Sanchez last season and impressed under former head coach Mauricio Pochettino with some good performances. Yeah, I think, I'll reiterate my opinion on this, Petrovic did really well for a $14 million or pound, was it dollars? $14 million goalkeeper from MLS. Chelsea, I mean, this isn't Burnley or Wolves. Sounds like I'm not slagging off other teams, but you know what I mean? Lower financial profile clubs. This is Chelsea Football Club. Petr Cech. Thibaut Courtois. I begrudgingly think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I do, but he's a knob. It's just, it happens. Edouard Mendy. He's a cult hero, isn't he, at Chelsea? I think Mendy played above himself. And he obviously was excellent for Chelsea and won, no one really cried when Mendy left. I think Kepa took his place again afterwards. They were like swapping. Mendy was a part of that really lovely story in our second Champions League win, and he will forever, that will be his career, rightly so, obviously international success as well, but like in terms of club success, that for him is like, it was a great story, of coming together of goalkeeper and club at the right time and the right group of players and etc. But yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, so Georgi Petrovic isn't that high profile goalkeeper, you know, and I'm not saying, oh, he's cheap, so he shouldn't be Chelsea's number one. If I was saying that every time Chelsea would, you know, buying less expensive players, I'd be screwed recently, because we've bought all kinds of, you know, your Gustos, your Vegas, and all the other children that we purchased for not that much money. And, you know, it's not, I don't mind not spending a lot of money on a player, but there's something about a goalkeeper that just spending 14 million from the MLS, Major League Soccer, for me, that's just not Chelsea material. And I got, obviously, judging his performances, he performed well. But for me, and I hold Chelsea to high standards, as one should, I can't see it at the moment. And although I saw it more than Rob Sanchez, regardless, going into this next season, I kept saying it on here to you guys and to other places that, just goalkeeper. Why aren't we talking about goalkeeper? So this is music to my ears. So Sanchez is in the front of the queue, so ahead of Petrovic, to start Chelsea's season as the #1 goalkeeper under Enzo Maresca, as the 26-year-old is deemed fit for the Italians' style of play. Well, fair enough. Every time the ball went at his feet last season, Rob Sanchez, often, I crap myself. Chelsea held off entering the market for goalkeepers as the new head coach Enzo Maresca assessed his options. But in the past 24 hours, it's been decided, after watching Rob Sanchez, it's been decided we need a goalkeeper. Chelsea will look for another goalkeeper who can deputise and compete with Sanchez. I think this is a bit of briefing with the deputise. I do genuinely think we're going to look for a goalkeeper who can be #1. Even if they tell Rob Sanchez, I'm speculating here, of course. Yeah, you'll have your chance if you play really well and you don't make a mistake. Don't worry, you can be #1. But I have a feeling that if we get a good goalkeeper, we will play the good goalkeeper. Under Maresca, Chelsea goalkeepers will be expected to pass the ball and be out from the back and be strong and brave in possession. In fact, actually, we've seen it, him himself on these tactical pieces of content, Enzo Maresca. Obviously, the in possession, the fullback inverts into midfield, you know, for an overload, and it becomes a back three. The goalkeeper joins the back three when they're in possession passing, and he actually creates a back four. So you've got 11 outfield players. Obviously, you've got to do this in certain phases where you're not going to just immediately concede with an empty goal. But there is an understanding with that risk. So the player needs to literally be comfortable as like a back four player passing, which I think is really cool. Like strategy or tactics wise, I think that's exciting, high octane. Do I want Rob Sanchez to do it? No, I don't. I don't want that. While Sanchez has shown signs he can do this in training, Chelsea believe they need another goalkeeper of a similar profile to compete with the Spaniard. While Petrovic is highly rated, there is a concern that there is too great a difference between him and Sanchez should Maresca need or want to make a change. See, this is sensible stuff, actually. This is sensible because he's not necessarily saying, like, Petrovic is bad, but, like, you need goalkeepers that are really similar in profile. And this isn't just Maresca with his squad, right? Cucurella, Renato Vega, very similar, can play defence, centre-back, left-back, midfield, right? You want to be able to swap players in and out, especially in crucial positions, right? Certainly further back. And that's the same for goalkeepers. You don't want some geezer who's really good at loads of stuff and different stuff, because you train with one and then you chuck a completely different profile in. It throws it all up in the air, so that's really important. In fact, Chelsea want to have a holistic approach to the first team, the development team, and indeed Strasbourg play similar formations, have similar players, so as they swap, and whether it's Chelsea, Strasbourg, other satellite clubs, or indeed development squad, you know, a player gets injured, he goes down, or you promote a youngster up, they all know what they're doing generally, right? It's important. I dig it. Chelsea are trying to build a squad capable of competing over a 75 to 80 game season, factoring, of course, the Club World Cup and Europe, of course. Maresca will need to be able to change his goalkeepers at times for cup competitions. Chelsea are unlikely to target a high-profile #1, such as Mike Mignon, but are instead in the market for a goalkeeper who can develop and may start the season on the substitutes bench before being given the chance to compete with Sanchez. Yeah, maybe like bed in with Chelsea, learn English, get comfortable at the club, and then maybe with their greater ability, muscle their way in. Don't know what I think about this, mate. Spanish reports have linked Chelsea with Real Madrid's Andre Lunin, but he does not fit the profile of goalkeeper the club are looking to sign. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't great for Ukraine in the Euros, was he? It remains to be seen whether Petrovic leaves on loan or is made available for sale, but Chelsea sources insist there are no doubts over his talent and temperament. Yeah, exactly. Kind of what I'm saying. Like, Petrovic deserves an immense amount of respect. He played above himself for a $14 million goalkeeper. He was good. He was good, you know. He wasn't great. Maybe not the most appropriate profile, but he's good. I wouldn't mind if he said to me, Jan, I mean, I get it, different profiles and whatever. We will, should we sell Petrovic, I think we'll make a profit on him. Because he was Chelsea's #1 for a while. And that's got to be worth at least £20 million, maybe? You know, I reckon there'll be a profit there. So, yeah. Let's just finish this off and I'll give you some thoughts. Other than a goalkeeper, Chelsea want a new striker and a right-footed winger. Oh, here we go. But this is, you know, if we are to believe Matt Law, he says reports from Brazil over interests in Fulham's Andreas Pereira are thought to be wide of the mark, which kind of would be a relief if true, because he's not a wide attacker and it would just be stacking midfielders, but we'll see what happens there because, you know, the story was pushed out for some reason or another. Chelsea are expected to complete the signing of 16-year-old Gabriel Mek, who is an attacking midfielder, which is one of another 10,000 million teenage midfielders from South America. Alright, so goalkeeper. I mean, Rob Sanchez cost £25 million, didn't he? Or £22 million from Brighton, which, you know, a year before would have seemed like an amazing deal. But, I just don't know, man. Like, I've got nothing. Don't get me wrong, guys. I've got nothing against Rob Sanchez doing it for Chelsea, becoming good, settling into Enzo Maresca's football. Like, great. He's young enough. He seems like a good guy. The squad like him. He, despite being Spanish, I believe he's homegrown because he was a teenager when he was at Brighton Academy or something. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling Rob Sanchez, despite being a Spanish international, represents homegrown in the Premier League. So it's another player on that quota. He's probably not on insane wages. He's probably on respectable, like, acceptable wages. But if you sold him, you'd make a loss. Simple as. You just make a loss on Sanchez. Even if he's got people in the game, kind of like, you know, there's certain players out there that despite poor form and, you know, stocks seemingly going down, there's clubs that just still rate them. You know, they just know they're good. And the best example that comes into my head is Armando Broja. Like, Broja's not really done anything for, like, a couple of years now. And, like, loads of clubs want him still. Because they see what he is in theory as, like, a profile. And he's had a massive injury as well. Was it ACL? But he's still got loads of suitors, Broja. Now, I'm not saying Rob Sanchez is that guy necessarily, but there are examples of these players that, despite, you know, not playing or whatever, they still stock is high. But despite that, I do think, should we sold Sanchez, would make a loss. Sanchez, I defer to the experts at Chelsea. They think he's a more appropriate profile to play Enzo Maresca's football than Petrovic. Fine. Keep Rob Sanchez. He can be a #2. But for me, to be like Chelsea, I really want to see a different candidate in goal for me to evaluate them. I'm not writing off any of the goalkeepers that Chelsea have. That's just how I feel right now. Of course, I put out to you guys the call to action. Let me know what you feel and think. The goalkeeper situation. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, thank you for supporting the content and hanging out with me here on the channel. If you dig the content, do consider subscribing. Hit the bell if you choose to. And I hope to see you back here very, very soon. Of course, 2 or 3 videos a day, so keep it locked. Peace!